Hello guys, welcome to the next delivery of the differences between Systema and traditional martial art. Today I'm going to be discussing about movement, which is the number 2 of our fundamental, Systema fundamental or Systema pillars. Okay? What are the movement in Systema, or how we move in Systema? Well, essentially we move in a natural way, being that the most important part. So we move naturally, we move continuously, uninterrupted, and we move in a relaxed way. So those are the three aspects of the Systema movement. So what are the things that we want to achieve when we move in Systema? So well, the first thing that we want to achieve with moving in Systema is to sense the force that is applied to us, so we can move accordingly. We can move away from that force that is applied to us, or we can redirect it away from us. The other thing is that we sense when we move is the distancing. We want to maintain the distance with our opponent and get familiar with that distance. We need to know how our ranges are, what we can reach with our feet, what we can reach with our feet, what we can reach with our elbows. So maintaining a set distance. We want to also naturally and by our own determination change that distancing. That means that if we want to get closer, we know how close we want to get to our opponent or farther away. The other thing that we want to achieve is how to move in different planes. By that I means how you can change direction to get away to send certain strikes that are thrown at you. This is particularly achieved with training with the staff. Now I've got a staff there, and I'll explain that to you in details. Now, so those are essentially the things that we want to achieve when we're moving in Systema. But I want to highlight that the movement has to be natural. So when we do our exercises in Systema, those exercises are designed to make the body flexible and to make the body strong. Full mobility, that allows you for full mobility. So the movement have to be not only natural but continuous and at its full range. That adds to unrestrained movement, total freedom of movement. We talk about freedom of movement in Systema. That is a very, very common sentence in our discipline. And that is that your movement have to be without restriction. That means that your shoulders have to be very, very flexible and movable, because if you are stiff, you are easy to lock. And if you don't move, then you become an easy target. And this applies across all the weapon system. Either you are dealing with someone throwing punches at you, you don't want to be there to be the recipient of those strikes, so you become a shooting duck. And that applies also to slashes, or someone hitting you with a stick, or if someone is aiming at you. That is the reason when you're working with firearms, when you draw, you will start moving straight away, and you have to train to shoot on the move. You're always moving to not to become an easy target, and you are always moving for cover. All right, so a good exercise to start with the movement is that you can start moving stationary. That means in exactly the same spot where you are, you move, but we're always on the move. Either you are not displacing, you are not on displacement, you can move, and then we are on the displacement. Okay, so standing here, then you can start moving your shoulders in different directions in a circular way, up and down. The good thing about the shoulders, different to the hips, for example, is that the shoulders are flexible in terms that you can move, because of the clavicula is here, you can leave your left shoulder straight and only move the right one, and you can leave the right one unmoved and only move the left one. So do those exercises. Now, even one on move and moving the other one. This cannot be done with the hip, because the hip is one bone that if one goes up, the other one goes down. If one goes forward, then the other one goes at the back. but that is the advantage of the shoulders over the hips. Okay, so we move, same spot. The movement is initiated from the core, that is the torso, okay, like a whip. So when you're doing the strikes, you come from here to the fist, right? Then add on the hip, okay? Unrestrained, the movement has to be free, unrestrained, total flexibility, chest, back, shoulder, hips, okay? Add on the arms, add on the legs, so from the hip, boom, boom. Then you add displacement. How is your displacement? Your displacement is your natural walking. So exactly the same way that you normally walk, that is your displacement. Okay? That way you don't have to relearn anything, and it's the natural way that you walk. You walk in a stable way, you don't fall, you don't trip. That's how you move when you're fighting. Right? Naturally changing direction. Right. So when you engage your core to move, that adds an extra power on your striking. So we talk about the dynamic strikes, or what's the other name that they give them? Ballistic strikes. Those are just names that people give to the systemic strike, but there's no such thing as names. If people want to put them names and call them ballistic and call them dynamic, that's fine, but strikes and systemas are strikes, and they are all the same. Right? So they are all originated from the core. And we talk about strikes because strikes involve everything. It doesn't have to be necessarily a punch or an elbow or a headbutt. The reason why is that we work with the entire body, so we weaponize the whole body. So you can get really close to someone and use your head to strike, or use your shoulder to strike, or use your elbow, or use the forearm, okay, and the bony bits here of your forearm to strike, all the palm, all the feet. So there is no one single part that you use only that part to strike. Okay, so that is what is so important, to have flexibility and freedom of movement, where you can strike with whatever part of your body. You can strike with the hip as well. Boom, you can strike with the knee as you walk. You can strike with the chin bone as you walk. You can start with your feet as you walk. Right? But it's normal walking that gives the sneakiness that you need to hit the target, without being picked by the opponent as, he's positioned himself to strike. So you're fighting someone that is a savvy fighter, a seasoned fighter, then he will read your move. But when your moves are natural, and you are just only walking towards a person, and you deliver strikes, those strikes comes in unnoticeable, because I am not representing a threat to my opponent. So for him to prepare and then try to read me and to counter my strike. So that is one of the gift of the Systema movement. All right. So if you see, a video, people move, why they move like that? Because that's the way they move, and we move naturally because we are humans. So that's the way we move. That's the way that you can move your elbow, because that's how the elbow is designed. That's how you move your shoulder, because of how the shoulder is designed. Right? That's how we move the chest, because that's the flexibility that our chest has. We are not animals. Okay? And that is one of the key differences of movement in Systema with traditional martial art. And here is the comparison. Right? Traditional martial arts, they move, depends on the origin of that art, and different parts of Southeast Asia, they work in different ways. So you go, for example, rigid stances with particular set of footwork. We talk about the breathing. Now we're talking about the movement, the rigidity of the movement. Rigidity of the kicks that are very, very telegraphic, and if you're fighting again a seasoned fighter, it will read when you are turning around and you are preparing for delivering a particular strike or kick. The other one is animals has been used also for many years as an inspiration for fighting. But we are not animals, we are humans, so we cannot move the same way that they move because their configuration of their body is different. If you want to fight like a tiger when you are not a tiger, or you want to fight like a mantis when you are not a mantis, it's not going to turn well for you, right? And again, someone that is trained in that particular art will know what you're doing, all right? Same with stances and shape. There are an invitation to the fight. You are trying to discourage the fight. You're trying to de-escalate the situation. So if you make a stance, then you are doing exactly the opposite. You are putting fuel into the fire. All right? So move naturally, relax, and without limitation. So train your body to be flexible and strong. Okay, what about the plane? We talk about the planes, moving in different planes. Use the staff, the Russian stick, to train how to move out of the line of attack. So your training partner is delivering a strike with you, against you, and you are trying to move out of the way of where that stick is coming at you. All right, but always maintaining the balance, always maintaining your center. So the stick is coming from above, you hit yourself, and then you meet that stick and you drive it away. So the stick is a good teacher because he doesn't forgive. If it hit you, it hurts. Right? So remember then, move naturally as a human. Freedom of movement, no limitation, no restrictions. Release your body, make it flexible, make it strong, not stiff. You're stiff, you're easy to lock. That is when we look for our opponent when we are working against our opponent. If our opponent is stiff, we manipulate them very easily. But when we are relaxed and they are trying to apply grappling techniques on us, now we are very flexible. We don't make ourselves easy targets. Same when the strikes are coming at us, then we can deflect them in a natural way, so those strike doesn't land on us. But I'll discuss this in another video. Okay, so natural, continuous, uninterrupted, freedom of tension. All right, freedom of tension, freedom of movement, distancing. Get to know your ranges, deliberately move with your training partner, maintaining the same distance. If he moves closer to you, you move further away. If he moves away, you move closer. So maintaining the distance, reducing that distance intentionally, increasing the distance intentionally, sensing the force with pushes, sensing the force and getting away from that push, and redirecting that force somewhere else, away from you. So I hope you enjoyed. Avoid being stiff, because that is not recommended. Avoid stances, because this is not recommended as well. And do not make assumptions. I see this a lot. Traditional martial arts, when they block a strike, but again, I will discuss that in another video. Do not make the assumption that you are stronger than your opponent to make those blocks and take that block, because chances are that your opponent is bigger than you, stronger than you, or has more bone density than you, so your arm is the one who ends up broken, or your block is the one that collapses and then you get a strike, and then you get hit. So that is why it's so important to redirect those blows coming at you, and kicks coming at you, redirecting them, then blocking them. All right. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you then on the next part of this series, which will be tension or relaxation, the part 3. See you guys. Thank you.